Your boy is back. Good afternoon, freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers, and freedom fighters. Here to continue this discussion, not continue this discussion. Continue this discussion. Just got through doing legs at the gym. Hitting legs and doing some sprints. You know what I'm saying? You got to get your conditioning in. You got to get your wind sprints in. Very important. Very important. So, before I hit the gym, I was talking about this Gervonta versus Jake Paul fight. Now, what do we know about it? The only thing we know for sure is what Netflix put out. That the fight is going to happen on November 14th of this year. That's all we know so far. But let's talk about the copium of the Gervonta Tonka Davis fans. Let's talk about the copium. Well, number one in the copium mix is that, they run around talking about this is going to be a big money fight, that this is big business, okay? They talk about it's going to be big business, it's going to do this number, it's going to do that number. They're getting paid this, they're getting paid that. And they use the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight as a barometer to determine how big this fight is going to be, but they have no idea. All right. They need it to be big to save face. They need this fight to be big. They need this fight to make a whole lot of money. They need both fighters to make a whole lot of money. And this is the problem with getting in the business of boxing as fans. As fans, as enthusiasts, as diehards, whatever you want to call yourself, casuals, when you get into the business of boxing and you hang your hat on your support for a fighter on that, and you decide to hate on other fighters and use that as a measuring stick, well, then now you're getting into a realm you have no idea about. What has the last few years taught us since getting in the business of boxing as fans? It's taught us that we really don't know what the real numbers are. We don't know what the real numbers are when it comes to these fights. Even when it comes to the biggest fights. Even when they tell you the pay-per-view numbers. We don't really know how much is going where, who's getting their cut, how much cut they're getting, how much the fighter's getting at the end of the day. Unless they decide to tell you, right? And how do we know what they're telling you is the truth? Because we've gotten so many people pushing this narrative that you're not a good fighter, or you're not a draw, or you're not worthy of another big fighter like Tonka Davis unless you do these numbers or those numbers, unless you fill up this stadium, unless you sell this many at the gate. Well, since when was that a criteria for the best fighting the best, for a fighter challenging themselves? Since when did that begin? When did we start using that as a way to measure whether a fighter is worthy of another fighter? Tonka Davis, for all intents and purposes, is not really that great of a fighter. Does he knock a lot of people out? Sure. As long as you let him do what he do and you stand in front of him. That has been the building blocks of Tonka resume up to this point. You put him in front of fighters that'll let him do what he do. And every now and then, you challenge him. You challenge him in the least way possible, and then he knocks a motherfucker out, and he gets propelled even further. It is in some of these Tonka fans' minds that Tank will fight Jake Paul, make trillions of dollars, and then come back next year and fight the people that we want him to fight, right? Like a Shakur Stevenson, like a Teofimo Lopez, or an Abdullah Mason if he beats a shot of Snopes, which I believe he will. This belief of Truck fans is the, and then he'll come back in 2020, beat the shit out of all our favorite fighters. He'll just run through them, and because he'll make the biggest bag ever in the sport against Jake Paul, he's going to have all the leverage in the world to make that happen in his favor. Even if Turkey Al-Sheikh takes over the sport. Turkey Al-Sheikh takes over the sport. And, Tonka Truck wants to go over there and fight some of the Turkey's fighters or TKO fighters. He'll have all the leverage because he fought Jake Paul and made a shitload of money. That is a narrative that is being pushed by Knockoff Luther King. That if Tank fights Jake Paul and makes the biggest bag ever made in the sport of boxing, he'll have leverage when he goes to TKO if he has to fight, the guys over there. And I'm like, man, really? Really, this is what we're talking about right now? I want us to understand this. If TKO takes over the sport of boxing, for the most part, and I'm talking about in regards to marquee fighters, because there are other fighters that will probably not be on TKO that are fighting on other networks. They're fighting under different programs, that I'm going to start trying to highlight and cover. He thinks that Tank can just go over there and do what he wants, get the money he wants, fight who he wants, have all the A-side leverage. Is Delusion at its finest. Even if Knockoff Luther King and his minions and other Tonka Truck fanatics believe that, they're going to be hit with a rude awakening. They'll tell you, oh, I'm not supporting this fight. Oh, I ain't supporting this right now. Maybe if I go on vacation and ruminate on it, and then maybe I'll change my mind when I come back from vacation and have a better understanding of why this fight's being made. Salute to Stephen X. Assalamu alaikum, my brother. Oh, I'll go on vacation. Maybe when I go on vacation, I'll come back and be on board. Or, oh, I'm not down with this fight. He better come back in 2026 and do something. Oh, I'm not supporting this, but he better come back in 2026. I'm still a big fan. I'm still a supporter, but I'm not watching this fight. Is this an isolated event? Tonka Truck versus Jake Paul? Now, my question would be to the Tonka Truck fans that think Tank is all of a sudden going to want to step up in 2026. What has Tonka Truck done up to this point in his career to give you that impression? What was it? What has Tonka Truck done up to this point in his career to show you that he's willing to take on those challenges? Can anybody tell me? He has fought one champion for a belt. He has fought one active defending champion for a belt in his entire career. And he complained about it and said that they were setting him up with Pedraza. He had an opportunity to unify at 130 when he fought, I forgot what his name is, one of them fucking guys down there. And he came in 2 pounds overweight and refused to lose the weight. He lost the belt. Right? And then he somehow became regular WBA champion and then fought some guy, whatever the fuck his name is, Fonseca or whoever else. He didn't fight him. One guy had the WBA super. He got stripped, and then they gave Tonka Truck the belt after he beat some guy. I forgot his name. Y'all know I'm bad with names. Stephanie Annette, salute to you. Good morning, Queen. Why ain't you got I thought I rinsed you up. Salute to Queen Sister Stephanie. Arthur, Michigan sent 100. Oh, salute to you. I don't know what you sent 100 of, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Arthur Morgan. Think about it. What has Tonka Truck done in his career to show you that he's going to come back in 2026? How many times do these people have to be wrong for us to really understand who Tonka Truck Davis really is as a fighter? How many times do these people have to be wrong? How many times do we have to hear them shit on people like Blue Blood Sports TV and Champside and BF and Drew Titan and these people that really give a fuck about the sport? How many times we got to sit here and listen to it only for them to be wrong time and time again? But you Tonka Truck fans, you consume the copium in copious amounts because for some reason you just can't let them go. You can't let them go. You can't bring yourself to reason and reconcile with the fact that Tonka Truck is not an elite fighter. But the copium you still will shoot into your veins. Right? You will still continue to shoot the copium into your veins. You might as well go to a copium den and lay up and just immerse yourself in the delusion. You might as well just succumb to it. Because these guys, they're going to tell you some of the truth. And then they're going to hit you with the lies. They're going to hit you with the hope because they built their channels on riding Tonka Truck's wagon, hitching their wagon to Tonka Truck. That's how they built their channels. So they have to maintain that level of wagon hitchery. You understand what I'm talking about? The wagon has to maintain itself. They will tell you, oh, I don't like this fight. Oh, I hope it comes back in 2026 and does something. Oh, it's going to be big business for all the wrong reasons. I don't like it, though. But it's going to be the biggest fight. It's forked tongue speaking. They are speaking with a forked tongue to cover their ass when the fight does happen and Tank makes all this money and they can try to make it make sense for the future of boxing, but it's not going to make sense for the future. It's not going to have anything to do with the future of boxing. It's not good for the sport. It's not bad for the sport. It's indifferent to the sport, this fight. It has nothing to do with the professional boxing. That's one thing we have to understand. Now, the undercard has the potential to mean something to the sport. But Tonka Truck Davis and Jake Paul fighting is not going to mean anything for the sport. Oh, y'all here spamming, huh? Stephanie says, I need after Jake Paul, he's fighting Pac-Man. Yep. Yeah, and then grabbing his person going. More power to him. Now, where is he going to fight Pac-Man at? I mean, it's a complete, utter shit show. I heard he's fighting RuPaul next. I heard after Jake Paul is RuPaul. That's what I heard. Oh, boy. And it's going to be a special episode of Project Runway. Hilo Frito Brazil, salute to you. Salute to you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. So, it's my food here. The copium is on 10 right now. Even to the creators that tell you that they don't like this fight and they're acting like they're shitting on Tonka Truck Davis, They're acting like they're oh, I can't support this. I can't put him in my intro no more. Listen, I base what I believe from people based on patterns and what they show me already. I appreciate that, Jonathan. Thank you for subbing. Here they come. Here they come, just wilding out. Anyway, so listen. What's interesting to me is that these Tonka truck channels that push this idea that he's going to rematch Lamont Roach and he's going to get back on the road to legacy and do all these different things, they will go to no ends to try to tear others down, even though they're constantly being proven wrong. Right? Like knock off Luther King. Knock off Luther King went in on Blue Blood and said that Blue Blood did a live stream based on this idea that the rematch between Lamont Roach and Tonka Truck Davis was back on, okay? Simply to try to make Blue Blood look like he got something wrong, right? Because Blue Blood is constantly being proved right. Is anybody perfect? No, they're not. And does he say things are subject to change in the sport of boxing? Yes, he does. Black Screen says he decides that he wants to tell us what he is. Well, Black Screen, salute to you for coming out of the closet, but this is not what this stream is about. And thank you, Sweet Cherry. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, Sweet Cherry. Yeah, John. Black Screen. You don't have to tell me that you're gay. It's okay. You can go ahead and be gay somewhere else. Nonetheless, so says that Blue Blood did a live stream where it was said that the fight was back on. Yes, Sweet Cherry, thank you. Please accept him. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate Sweet Cherry for the compliment because I like ladies. And I will always appreciate the ladies for giving me compliments because I love the ladies. Anyway, so here's the problem. Yes, Blue Blood might have did a live stream about that, but at the time, that was probably the case. Thank you, Kira. I appreciate that. That probably was the case. Now, let's go through the sequence of events to help you Tonka Truck fans with your copium. All right, so Tonka Truck fought Lamont Roach, and they asked him after the fight who he was going to fight next. And he basically, the long story short, he said the motherfucker was in his dressing room. Who was in his dressing room? Jake Paul. Bada boom, bada bing. Later on down the road, they asked Jake Paul if he was supposed to fight Tonka Truck Davis. He said, yeah, we were supposed to fight. Yeah, we had it all worked out, blah, blah, blah. We were going to fight this day, that day. But he was supposed to beat Lamont Roach. Okay? Jake Paul told you they were fighting. Tonka Truck Davis gave you guys a hint that they were going to fight. Adriana Clark, salute to you. Good morning. Or good afternoon to you. Tonka Truck gave the impression that he was going to fight Jake Paul. He called Jake Paul out before the Lamont Roach fight. Okay, if you go with that, if you go with the timeline, if you connect the dots, it does not take a genius to understand that Gervonta Tonka Truck Davis was going to try to fight Jake Paul, get a huge bag, and get out of the sport. Okay? But he did not complete his mission. He had one job. Knock Lamont Roach the fuck out. Got a draw instead. Got his ass whooped in reality. But he got a draw on paper. Please hit the like button. Guys, please hit the like button when you're up in here. So then what happens? Okay, Jake Paul said they were supposed to fight. but it didn't work out because he didn't beat Lamont Roach. He has to rematch Lamont Roach, beat Lamont Roach, and then we got to fight. Okay. So that was the plan, right? Jake Paul fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. That was a complete debacle and a spectacle. And then he was supposed to fight somebody else next. I think it was AJ or whoever else at heavyweight. That did not work out. So guess what? During this period where Jake Paul's fighting Julio Cesar Chavez, trying to fight Anthony Joshua and other heavyweights, Tonka Truck is resisting the rematch to Lamont Roach. PBC wants Lamont Roach to fight Tonka Truck Davis again, get his get back, you know what I'm saying? Right? Avenge that draw that was really an ass whooping towards Tonka Truck Davis. That was supposed to happen. They were supposed to fight in June, July. It kept getting pushed back because Tonka Truck did not want the money that he was being presented for that fight. And they told him, if you want big money, you got to fight big names. You got to fight real. You got to really challenge yourself. We're not just going to sit up here and just keep paying you all this bread, and you're not fighting the fights that people want you to fight. Okay? So he's doing all these things to sabotage. He's getting in trouble with the law and all this other shit. Bada boom, bada bing. Jake Paul can't get the fight he wants. So guess what? What's the next best option for Jake Paul to get a big fight? Well, let's go back to the table with Tonka Truck Davis. Hence, where we are today. So, did Blue Blood get it wrong, or did he go with the information he had at the time? I would go with the latter. Blue Blood was going with the information he had at the time. Stephen X says, I think Tank is in mad debt and needs money. It could be possible. I mean, these fighters, it's been known to happen throughout the history of the sport, where fighters are, frivolous with their money. They're not being very smart. They don't have money management skills. And people that are not, doing the right by them. So this is a thing. But it is what it is. So here we are, right? But that's the copium. Let's point out everybody else's bullshit to hide our own. So this same knockoff Luther King forgot to mention one thing, especially when he talked about how people thought that Tonka Truck Davis was supposed to fight Shakur Stevenson last year at the end of 2024, right? He's talking about that, but he failed to mention that he was one of the people that said that the fight between Shakur was going to happen in November 2024 or December, whatever one of those months. He said that out of his own mouth during a short he was doing. So guess what? He put that out there as well. And when it didn't happen, he swept it under the rug, just like everybody else that derides Tonka Truck. This is what you get when you have the head cheerleader of a fighter who's really not trying to do much in the sport of boxing, has never expressed any interest. Well, he has actually. He told Champside that he wanted undisputed. He told others that he had a hit list, but he was full of shit. Tonka Truck is a fucking liar as well. I mean, he's told you the truth and he told you lies. But when the truth is obvious, we want to dismiss it. We want to say, oh, well, you don't know what Tank meant. Oh, you got to read the body language. You got to go to the Tonka Truck Davis lexicon and find out what he really means when he says something. But when it came to the bullshit that he was selling, we're supposed to interpret that straight up and down the middle. Stephanie, salute to you. What happened to the massive Amazon deal? That was another lie. Well, this is what I believe happened. I think that Tonka Truck had a deal with Amazon on a per fight basis. He would get paid based on the fight, and he would not get paid a huge guarantee, right? There was no huge Amazon deal. I think that there was a potential for him to make all this money if he fought fighter A, B, C, D. But instead, who did he fight? He fought, who did he fight on Amazon so far? Lamont Roach, Frank Martin. I mean, Frank Martin was the biggest challenge he faced, and, you know, that wasn't even a 50-50 fight. I mean, this is sad, you guys. This is what we're dealing with in the sport of boxing. And it's only this way because Tonka Truck Davis has been held up and heralded as the greatest fighter of his generation, the face of boxing. He's the face of boxing over Canelo. He said that himself. But what has he done as an elite fighter to deserve that title? What elite task has he completed? What elite challenge has he met? What elite fighter has he taken down? No, he's the face of boxing because he got 1.2 million pay-per-view number with Ryan Garcia. And that's another thing. How is it that we believe that if he fights Jake Paul, gets huge numbers, right? Nets a whole lot of money. What in the history of Tank's career showed us that he gets this much money? 1.2 million pay-per-views. And every fight from there is at least 1 million pay-per-views. No, he got 1.2 million with Ryan Garcia, and then 250 million or 250,000 or some shit like that with Frank Martin, and like 300 with Lamont Roach. And what has Ryan Garcia going on to make after that? 450, 500 with Devin Haney or whatever they made, but nothing other than that. He didn't even fight pay-per-view after that. So what makes us believe that he fights a fighter based on their popularity, like Ryan Garcia, as opposed to their resume and their position in the sport? Jake Paul, same situation, popularity. You know what I'm saying? He's popular. He has a lot of followers. He has all these YouTube followers. So he fights Jake Paul. There is no pay-per-view because it's going to be free on Netflix. So how are we going to gauge how much money these fighters are making? How are we going to gauge it? Sunshine says, good afternoon, Mr. Freedom. Did you see my comments under your last video? The domestics is up on Tubi right now. No email subscription. Don't. Oh, yeah, I'll check it out. I appreciate that, Sunshine. I remember you talking about that. Jay's going to bring the most money, yeah, to him, and that's it. It's not going to be good for the sport, though. Tonka Truck can go ahead and fight Jake Paul and then take his ass on. As long as he drops that belt, as long as he stops pretending like he's an elite fighter, I'm okay with it. Just go on ahead and get your ass on. Go on, get the hell on, you and your fans. That's all I want. Take your fans with you, right? Show them that we were right. Show them that all you wanted to do was make as much money possible and get the fuck out, like you've been saying. Yes, Kevin, Adamitis. Yes, it is stupid. It's a clown show, but they're going to make a lot of money. It is what it is. Let Tank move on with his life. Let boxing move on without him, and then we can get back to what's really important in the sport of boxing. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm hungry as hell. I just got through hit hard at the gym, so I'm ready to munch on down. All right. So, anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe, and let's keep marching forward toward freedom.